Hi, friends. I'm Scott Giles, a hypnotist and life coach, and welcome to Power Talk, the video podcast I do here on Facebook Live and also on my YouTube channel every week. And I touch upon different topics related to spirituality. I am a member of the clergy. Hypnotism, of course, I'm a well known hypnotist. And also on topics of coaching, and I am credentialed as a coach as well. Today I want to talk about creative nostalgia. Now, all of these videos that I do focus around my practice theme, which is take control of your life through the power of your mind. And today I want to talk about a very powerful tool that you can use to take control over your inner life. It's a tool that I've discovered a lot of people neglect and that I neglected myself until I thought about it and made a conscious decision to change what I was doing to build it into my life skills toolkit. Perhaps you'll want to do the same. The tool is the creative application of nostalgia. Now, nostalgia is defined as a wistful attention to something from the past, especially a happy thing in the past. It's kind of the flip side of rumination or perseveration, which are when you recall things that are not good or painful and ponder them. Recalling things that are positive is an absolutely fantastic way to bring some positive energy into your day. And then you can find ways to make it real. At the risk of too much information, in my personal morning preparation, when I shave, the aftershave I use is actually a product that's been around for a very long time. It's called Florida Water, and it's widely used in certain forms of Caribbean spirituality. I was exposed to it in New York, where I went when I left home. It's used often in religious ceremonies. It's a very nice spicy scent. It's not a strong one, and people will put it in their cleaning water and all kinds of things. And it's my personal cologne. And whenever I smell it, which is every day, it takes me back in my mind to a good time in my life when I contacted some really good people who helped me a lot. And I remember them every single morning after I finish shaving. For my beard care, I use products that are made using the scent called Bay Rum. Something I started using back in college and then fell away from. And I made a decision to return to that scent because my collegiate years were some of the best years of my life. Not the easiest years by any means, but in terms of personal exploration, personal growth, personal achievement, my initial personal achievements that stand out in my mind, they were during those years. And so when I take care of my beard every morning, which guys watching this who have beards will sympathize with, that scent takes me back to those years of joy and power and exploration. A fantastic way to begin the day with a touch of creative nostalgia, a positive recollection of things of the past. And there are events, I had a really rocky youth and adolescence, but there are some good things in all of that are very easily forgotten. The brain has evolved to favor a negative expectation. Fear makes a creature cautious. Cautious creatures tend to survive, whereas incautious creatures tend to become food. So the creatures that survive were the creatures that could feel fear readily. At this point in evolution, that's us. Fear and negative expectation is the default setting in the human biocomputer. And the result of that is that's what we remember the best, the bad stuff. And so you have to be intentional about overcoming that negative predisposition in your biochemical wiring and program it to remember the positive, which it doesn't want to do unless you nudge it in that direction. Uh, my high school was a horror. But in that high school, there was a thing, you get the class ring, and the tradition in that school was it would be worn with the school name showing in if you were a junior, which is when you got your ring. And when you became a senior, you turned the ring around so the school name showed in the other direction toward people facing you. And so there was a big thing with the ring turning event. It was a kind of an event held at a park in the evening with the bands and all kinds of stuff. And what you would do, you wouldn't turn your own ring. You weren't supposed to do that. It was supposed to be turned for you by a member, someone with whom you had a romantic or attachment, or a girlfriend, boyfriend, what have you, whatever your preferences were. So you would turn the other person's ring and then you kiss them. And I didn't have a girlfriend at that point. I worked full time during high school. In fact, when I missed my senior prom because I was working in the kitchen of the hotel where the prom was being held. But I did go to the ring turning event, and I ran into a couple of female friends that I had knew, and they were feeling kind of lonely too. So we hung out together, and I turned their rings and they turned mine. So I got kissed twice. And for the evening, I was walking around with two attractive young ladies on my arm, and all of my peers noticed. It was wonderful, an absolute win. And so I remember that. I remember that. My graduations have also been other high points in life. The value of capturing in your mind these positive events and then recollecting them is that you're experiencing what some people call an eternity in time. Now, everyone wants to live forever, or many people do. I don't think I do, but a lot of people think they do. They want an eternity of time. We don't get that unless there's an afterlife. But we can get an eternity in time, in that I can recollect, so long as my mind is intact, I can recollect anything that happened to me. And I choose to experience an eternity in time of those positive experiences I've had. The great psychoanalyst Viktor Frankl, who survived concentration camps, had a principle published in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, bad translation. The actual German title isn't as sexist. But the book contains the premise that what you have experienced, no one can take away from you. And therefore, these become lasting things in your mind that you can savor and use in a positive way. Now, any hypnotist can tell you about anchors. Anchors are physical things. They can be gestures or objects or what have you that recall you to an emotional state. So my use of Florida water and bay rum is an anchor, a scent that calls me to a positive state. People will often have a lock of hair of a loved one, or save old letters or photos. These become anchors to a creative nostalgia that brings positive energy into your life. And this is something we all should cultivate. I'm a journal keeper, have been for a long time. I actually have in my journal a page I call Stepping Stones. And on this, I list the positive stuff that I remember from early childhood to present day. And when I revise the journal, I relist that stuff, and often moving new things back into their proper chronological order instead of at the end of the list where I put them when they occurred to me. But these stepping stones are the positive recollections I want to have. Usually, these are very, uniformly nice things like major graduations. But they can also be things that are bittersweet, but that resulted in something good. Like my decision to go off on my own was not fun at the time. It was not a fun experience. But because I prospered, what came from it most certainly was. And so that is on my stepping stone list too. I suggest you give the tool a try. Remember, your negative brain does not want to remember the stuff that empowers you, but you can overcome that evolved negative tendency through the power of your mind, the creative use of nostalgia. And if you're in a relationship that's existed for a while, get together with your partner in that relationship and reminisce about the good shared stuff in the past, because that creates an additional bonding. Hey, thank you for your time and attention. I hope this tool will be helpful to you. If I could be helpful to you, please feel free to reach out and inquire about my services. It does help me if you share my videos, so please like, share, and subscribe. I do value that very, very much. I'll be back next week with a different video on a different topic, and I'm going to start posting some of my past videos as well because people have been asking for them. Take care, stay well, and stay safe.